Hello people, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing good. So today let's discuss about the Article 15, that is the prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, caste, race, sex or place of birth. Now, let's see what does Article 15 of Clause 1 talks about. The state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them. So this clause 15 or article 15 of clause 1 says that an individual in the society shall not be discriminated on the basis of his religion, caste, gender, place of birth or any of them. Clause 2 talks about that no citizen shall on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them should be subjected to any disability, liability, restriction or condition. In olden days, if you remember, like the upper caste people, the well that the upper caste people are using should not be used by the lower caste people. So there are some type of discrimination in our olden days. In order to prevent all those discriminations, these laws are made in our constitution. Okay, there are sub clauses in clause 2, that is access to shops, public restaurants, hotels and places of public entertainment like parks, theaters, etc. The use of wells, tanks, bathing ghats, roads, and places of public resort maintained wholly or partly out of state funds or dedicated to the use of the general public. So, all these wells, tanks, bathing ghats, etc., which are built by the state or which are built by the use of the state funds, either partly or either wholly, which is made in order for public purpose, so that each and every citizen, each and every individual can use the well, tank, bathing ghats irrespective of his or her religion, caste, race, gender or place of birth, etc. Now, talking about the clause 3, nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any special provision for women and children. So, what does this mean is that this article, there is no, in the clause 1 we have discussed that there is no discrimination based on his gender, based on their gender, there is no discrimination. But the state is doing some provisions in favor to women and children, which is a positive discrimination, which doesn't harm the society, which doesn't harm the people of the society, this type of positive discrimination. So this is what the clause 3 talks about. Here you could find a small diagram, that is, we shall not discriminate based on their religion, gender, caste, place of birth, race, etc. Now I was talking about discrimination. Let's know what is discrimination clearly. Discrimination means to make an adverse or unfavorable distinction between two persons. Let's say we have two persons, X and Y, and you are there. You are some Z, I hope so. The Z is discriminating the both X and Y based on their religion. Like, he is dividing a person X and Y as different. Like, according to our Constitution of India, India is unity, right? Everyone are equal. Everyone is treated equal in India. But here, this X is discriminated based on his religion and Y is discriminated on based on his caste. So this discrimination should be, this type of dividing the people based on some of the factors is said to be discrimination. So this article 15 has total of 6 clauses. Out of this, the clause 4 was added by the Constitution, which is the First Amendment Act 1951. You know what is the First Amendment Act? That is 1951. The 93rd Amendment on 2005 is our clause 5. The clause 6, it is 103rd Amendment Act 2019. So the First Amendment, 93rd Amendment, 103 Amendment were in the same Article 15. They are clause 4, clause 5, clause 6 respectively. Clear? The discrimination means the unfavorable distinction or the negative discrimination. So in Article 15 of clause 3 we have talked about the positive discrimination. We have used the criteria like the gender discrimination in order to help the women from the society. Clear? We have made many laws in the society. We had made many laws empowering women. So I have already made a video on women empowering laws. I'll link it in the description. Please make sure to watch that video too. From Article 15, Clause 3 and Clause 4, we can understand that the Constitution allowed favorable distinction or positive discrimination. So that is what I'm saying from the starting, that there is a positive type of discrimination in favor of women and children. Clear. For example, what are this positive type of discrimination we see in women as well as in children? In women, we see the Maternity Benefit Amendment Act in 2017 and Child Labor Prohibition Regulation Act for the welfare development of women and children. So this maternity benefit is that, like a woman who is working, who is an employee, is pregnant, should be given with a 6 to 8 months of medical leave for her pregnancy. And the Child Labor Act is like the individual who is less than 18 years is not allowed to do work in shops or doing labor, is also prohibited. Now here comes the case study, DP Joshi versus the state of Madhya Bharat. The Supreme Court in its judgment upheld the constitutional validity of the reservation order. So this case is actually based on the reservation order, like they have made a new clause also, reservation, based on reservation. The court held that Article 15(1) prohibits the discrimination on the grounds of only religion, caste, sex or place of birth or any of them. But it does not prohibit the state from making special provisions for the advancement. So what does this second point says is that, yes, the Article 15 of Clause 1 is saying that you should not discriminate based on the following factors, based on these factors, but it doesn't prohibit the state in order to make the provisions or make some laws for the advancement of socially and also educationally backward classes, like making some reservations to them so that they could be educated, they could also become successful. So it doesn't prohibit that, like this article hadn't prohibit the state to make laws. Clear? That's good. The court further held that the reservation order was a special provision aimed at promoting the education advancement of the backward classes and was therefore valid under Article 15. So if the society is good based on the discrimination, like here we are also making a positive discrimination, so we can say that yes, it's good and it is valid under Article 15 of Clause 1. The Supreme Court had given this judgment. Now here comes a very important case, that is the state of Madras versus the Champakam Rajan. So what was his issue is that in the state of Madras there are some medical as well as engineering colleges. Due to this reservations, Champakam Rajan had lost his admission to get into a medical college. So that is why he had filed a case in the Supreme Court. And this case was before our first amendment, that is Article 15 of Clause 4. Before this amendment, this case was filed, and after the judgment of this case, again our first amendment was introduced into our Article 15. Clear? The judgment of the Supreme Court is historic and unforgettable because it's a very important case which had made an amendment in the Constitution. So this is taken as a historic and unforgettable case. It led to the landmark judgment. The judgment stated the First Amendment in the Constitution of India in relation to the reservation policy. The amendment comprised the addition of the Clause 4 under Article 15. So this judgment had made our Clause 4 under Article 15. The judgment struck down the impunged communal government order. This order has a reservation policy which provided the caste discrimination. So what is the discrimination is that in the medical college there are some seats reserved to some caste people, like Brahmins have got reserved seats and other caste people have also got the reserved seats. So at the end, this Dorai Rajan haven't gotten admission into the medical college. So he filed that due to this caste discrimination, I didn't get admission into into medical college. Clear, the judgment becomes significant as resolves the conflict between the fundamental rights and directive principles of the state policy. So here the state policy have reserved the seats without violating the Article 15 of Clause 1. Okay. So but due to this caste discrimination, this Dorai Rajan had lost his seat in the medical college, which was a clash for his fundamental right. So that is why he filed the case. Through this milestone case, we get to know that the fundamental rights are most important and fundamental rights hold the upper position over the directive principles of the state policy. When your fundamental rights are getting violated, you could directly file a case to the High Court and wait for its judgment. Whenever the fundamental right is violated and directive principles of state policy is in question, then the fundamental rights will prevail. The first amendment in the Constitution of India, which comprised the addition of reservation policy. So this clause 4 talks about the reservation policy. Now let's look at the citations related to the Article 15 clause 1, 2 and 3. Before going into this, now let's know about equality and equity as well. So what is equality here? Equality means an individual or group of people are given with the same sources or opportunities. To understand it more, you could see in this pic that here there are 3 persons of different type of situations, like he is a tall one, he is a medium one and he is a small one. So each and every one are given with the same priority, like one block is given to each one, so that only the tall and the medium one could see the match. But what about the small one? So here we have maintained equality. Coming to equity, it recognizes, means that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. So coming back to our pic, here there is equity. So he is tall, he is moderate and he is small. So here what is the equal outcome? That is to see match. To see the match, it is the equal outcome. So the tall person could easily watch the match without any block. Without any block he could see the match. So the circumstances here are that without block also he could actually see the match. So this is the line of equal outcome. When you are given a block to this medium person, he could also see the match clearly. When you give 2 blocks to this person, then you could easily watch the match. So you could find that this is the equality and this is equity. Here there are some citations, like there are totally 9 citations over here. If you want to know more about this type of citations, you can search on Google and know more about these cases. I hope that you all understood about today's video. I hope you all got a clear idea about the Article 15 and its clauses. So finally, Article 15 has how many clauses? 6 clauses. It has 6 clauses, and in that the clause 4 is the first clause, First Amendment clause. It is the First Amendment Act in 1951. I hope you all have got a clear idea about it. Thanks for watching.